Okay, I'm ready. Have you ever had one of those long days at work? One of those days where you're met with so many problems and frustrations? You probably had to endure all this stress and all these problems throughout an 8 hour shift. Now, I want you to imagine this 8 hour shift turning into 12 hours. And not only that, but working 6 days of that shift or of that week. It sounds horrible, right? Unfortunately, that's what it's like to work in China's 996 work culture. You're required to work long hours for 6 days a week with little time for rest. In Sumi Key's article, Surviving 996, last access September 6, 2024, in February of 2001, a 22-year-old employee collapsed to the ground on her way home after work, which resulted in her death a few hours later. According to Surviving 996, last access September 6, 2024, the World Health Organization that in 2016 there were 745,000 deaths brought along by long working hours. Can you imagine how difficult it must be? Even your life is affected after working so many hours and not having that much time to rest. This can happen to all of us if we let our guard down and policies like this actually come to the United States. Today, we are going to learn about China's 996 work culture. We will be discussing what China's 996 work culture is, its advantages and disadvantages, and its future implications. First, let's talk about what China's 996 work culture is. According to Surviving 996, last access September 6, 2024, this practice called 996 because it's a set work schedule that calls for employees to work from 9 a.m. From 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. What does this mean for the workers? Well, the employees are met with fewer days off, which leads to more tired individuals and more stressed individuals as well. According to a controversial working system in China, the 996 working hour system published by Classius Press in 2021, the 996 system was first put in place by China in 2019, and large companies took advantage of this newfound system. As a result of this new work system being introduced, new company policies put pressure on workers so that they would follow this working system. And although employees were reluctant to follow the new working system, there was really nothing they could do about it. Now that we have discussed or explored what China's 996 work culture is, let's discuss what are some advantages and some disadvantages of the working system. First, let's start with the advantages. Well, there's a short-term advantage to both the company and the workers that participate in China's 996 work culture. According to a controversial working system in China, the 996 working hour system, published by Classius Press in 2021, this would be due to the longer working hours, there would be a longer boost in production for the company, which would allow them to bring in more capital. Not only that, the workers would also benefit because due to the longer hours, they would be receiving a bigger pay. However, this is just a short-term advantage. Now that we have seen the advantages, let's look at these disadvantages. According to a controversial working system in China, the 996 working hour system, published by Classius Press in 2021, an increase of work pressure and hours will ultimately lead to the impact of employees and of their physical and mental health. And this will ultimately impact their motivation to work. We can see that in the article Surviving 996, last access in September 6 of 2024, a Pinduoduo employee committed suicide 2 weeks after the death of the 22-year-old woman who collapsed on her way home from work previously mentioned in the introduction. So we can see how working in the 996 work system has already affected certain individuals. Now that we have discussed some advantages and disadvantages of China's 996 work culture, let's explore the future implications it will have on China's work culture. While a lot of people have suffered and passed away due to this newfound work culture, uh, there have already been changes in policies by the Chinese government. According to a controversial working system in China, the 996 work hour system published by Classy Scientific Press in 2021, the Chinese government has finally stated that the 996 work system violated China's labor laws in August of 2021. As a result of this, the government has enforced or has been trying to enforce healthy working hours by strengthening supervision of the companies and law enforcement. So now that we see that this overwork culture is being reduced, we can now see that there are going to be differences in the health and lifestyles of the Chinese citizens. Their value of life will ultimately be better because they will have more time to rest, more time to spend with their family, and even to do day-to-day things in their own time. In conclusion, today we learned about China's 996 work culture. We talked about what China's 996 work culture is, its advantages, disadvantages, and future implications. It is sad to know that over 745,000 people lost their lives in 2016 because large companies were willing to exploit their health and let them lose their lives over it. The number of lives can actually exponentially grow and even affect us if we were to let our guard down and these policies were to become something true or real in our lives here in the United States. So we need to be, it is important to understand how systems, working systems like China's 996 work culture can affect us so that it does not affect you, myself, or our loved ones. Many of us have had to endure a difficult 8-hour shift before, but that will never compare to how demanding China's 996 work culture is. Working 12 hours a day for 6 days a week is inhumane and has caused hundreds of thousands of people to lose their lives, including the 22-year-old woman who collapsed on her way home from work. So now that you understand China's 996 work culture, it is important to be aware of company policies that can put our health in danger and even cost us our